So hello, it's me, LETTERBOXD, and today we're going to hop into this new concept which I have. So basically, best of Watchlist. And here we're going to go to LETTERBOXD and see what movies I have watched and fast opinions on them and should you watch them or not. It's mixed with new and old movies, so there is something for everyone. And in these videos, every episode will be different because I'm going to watch different things. And I thought it's gonna be a monthly thing, but now when I look at it closely, it's maybe even better than I do it in weekly thing. Weekly, I'm gonna do some kind of fast recap of every movie I've seen the past week and basically the favorite picks of the week. So today's Wednesday 14th of February, and week back we started with a La La Land. So basically I love this movie so much. It is third time seeing it and I'm still keeping my opinion on it. The whole thing is artistically beautiful, color wise and music wise. The cinematography is exceptional and color palette made this movie so special to look at. Music is very memorable and it is very emotionally loaded with beautiful melodies and visuals. I'm very impressed that Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone went full speed to bring this love story to life. Also, they have an awesome singing voices and chemistry between them that I was really surprised of. This is actually one of the most favorite movies in my books. Story keeps us on the verge of the seats while playing with our emotions all the way. Heartbreaking story, love it. Yeah, and I gave this 5 stars and it really is a great movie. Next up we have The Mist, 2007 Stephen King adaptation. And I saw last year's The Mist Netflix original season few months ago, and I must say that I had some expectations for this one because the story itself is very interesting when it's told by Stephen King himself, of course. I went open-mindedly waiting for great horror thriller because I have heard some great things about it, so I was very excited. The story was very solid, kept us on the edge of the seat every 15 minutes when something major happened. I loved the intensity and the old school vibe of style that it has. This movie is very impressive, but the CGI is somewhat outdated already. It didn't bother me because the story and the visuals themselves were impressive when you realize that it is an 11 years old movie already at this point. The actors and actresses were very good and they delivered the feeling of fear pretty well on the screen. I liked the movie overall. It had one of the most fucked up endings I have ever witnessed. It's not the best Stephen King's adaptation, but one of the strongest ones for sure. And I gave this movie 3.5 stars. Nothing over the top special, but it is very solid. Next up we are going for A24 Studios last year's hit, The Killing of Sakura. I started watching this without knowing anything about it and what exactly it was. I saw the trailer for it but nothing more, so I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. From the first scene I found out that it will be quality wise very impressive, so artistic and interesting all the way. I had very uneasy feeling straight from the start and it kept on going and going. I felt like something was so off with the story. After half-hour mark, I got it, why it felt like it's so off and uneasy. At that point I got on tracks with the story. Still it surprised me many times, and as I got the grip of the story, it immediately threw something new at my face that I couldn't predict and handle at all. The problem I had with this movie, not necessarily the whole movie, but this particular detail. The sound environment and the music was very unsettling, and of course it should be when you talk about horror flick, but in some places it felt like creepy strings were unnecessary. In other hand, the thing really made some scenes more creepy, but sometimes they didn't quite fit. That's the only thing that bothered me in some way in this movie. It was very weird movie, to be honest. Very intense and very impressive job by Yorgos Lanthimos overall. Also, the performances of the crew were so great. Definitely worth watching. I gave this movie 4.5 stars out of 5. And it deserves it. It was pretty damn great. So next up is Amphibian Man. Yeah, this is from 1961 and this is the oldest movie I have ever seen. I suspected that the new, Guillermo del Toro's masterpiece, The Shape of Water, could not be that original, and I thought that I watched this too to prove that thing wrong. But as you know in the other video, it's not basically the same thing. Straight from the beginning we saw this tree creature who really was just a boy who needed to be saved from death by doing a surgery by the most talented Dr. Salvatore. In the surgery, he transplanted the shark gills to this boy to repair his lung damage. But with that, he could also breathe underneath the water now. I must say it is very well made movie. Basically, the sea creature, the boy, finds his love and tries to get her from this very aggressive and rich sailor man Pedro. Well, there is some complications going on there. About the movie, it is very compelling storyline and storytelling is very good. I mean very well made. I love how these Russian vintage movies are so well constructed. The cinematography is exceptional. This movie was released in 1961. It is very impressive. The performances are cheesy sometimes, but it's understandable. Because these vintage movies always were kinda silly in a way. Overall, awesome movie. 4.5 stars out of 5. The next up we have Coco. I had very big hopes over it. People have been praising it all the way, so I was very excited. The movie told the story about the little boy Miguel, who is planning to become an artist when he grows up. His family has different opinion on that because of the bad memory in the past from this family member who left the family seeking his own glory as a musician and never came back. That's why the music is forbidden in this family and Miguel is struggling to live his life like he wants to. The story is about family and how everything is precious when it's a matter of family. On the other hand, you should open up and show your true personality and your desires with them. They will support you no matter what. In the story we got those messages, but very twisted and with many complications by the end. This movie is very well made. From the animations to the performances. I love how we got a glimpse of Mexican culture and traditions in it. Also we got a look at their beliefs and how they think the afterlife is represented in real life, but this time on a big screen. Very well made Pixar movie, definitely must watch. And I gave this 4.5 stars out of 5. So the next stop is The Ritual. The earlier Netflix originals have been very disappointing in my opinion, so I didn't put any pressure on this movie with the expectations and the hype. But the trailer was actually pretty good to start with. So these guys who have been friends for a while decided to go somewhere together but couldn't decide where at first. Then one of the guys suggests hiking trip to Sweden, and first it was kinda odd place to go in their opinion, but after a tragic event which took place after that made them go for it 6 months later. It is the beginning of a scary journey which is definitely haunts us after watching. The movie has a few genuine scares which got me off guard, but what made this movie so great wasn't the intensity of the story and great and realistic performances by the actors with some great visual effects and director choices. Storytelling was pleasing and it kept great pacing throughout the movie. I never felt bored while watching this. The movie relies on the jump scare effects too much, even without showing anything scary at that particular point. I'm not saying that the movie isn't scary. The movie is very scary without a doubt, but it still uses these horror cliches too much in some part of the movie. Uh, but it is great to see that the movie is taking risks and tries something new to balance with the already familiar cliches. I'm so happy that they didn't use that found footage style while shooting this movie, which they easily could have made. The second act lost me a little bit because intensity that they build up was kind of vanished surprisingly. The third act redeemed the movie a little bit, but the ending was, man, it was very disappointing. It dragged me down again. It didn't make any sense, and it felt like they wanted to wrap up the movie without making any proper conclusion to the plot, which will wrap up everything this movie was dealing with. It just ended without any context. But luckily, I was pleasantly surprised by the movie as a whole. I liked it for its weirdness and mind-bending plot dynamics. For sure, the most what the hell movie of the year so far. Just watch it and judge it for yourself. And I gave this movie 3 stars out of 5. And it is okay, but some moments were just too off. Well then, we are getting some treat with the next one, which is the Emoji Movie. Oh man, I wouldn't want to, do this. This is maybe the cringiest shit I have seen ever brought to a big screen in the form of animation. The story. What was the story? Emoji, who wanted to work in the phone, basically failed his face expression miserably when he had his chance, when he got chosen. He got a big backlash from that, and the committee decided that he will be removed from existence. That's why he had to run away from these killer robots which were sent after him. He ran from app to app trying not to get caught. He finds a pair of new friends while doing so and team up with them to get away and fix his malfunction, as they say. Through the whole movie, they jump from app to app, goofing around and searching for a Dropbox app to fix this malfunction. This was basically one big commercial or ad for games and apps without any context. The plot was non-existing, the dialogue was horrible, comedy was so forced, I wanted to cringe myself through the floor, for Christ's sake. They threw these terrible jokes and references which weren't even funny at all. No wonder the new generation gets dumber every day when they see this kind of poop. Talking about poop, I feel very sorry for Patrick Stewart, who was actually playing the poop emoji. Well, he made a great bank of it, but his name is still on it, so just don't watch it if you want to save time and sanity. And I gave this movie 1 star out of 5, and it's very deserving. Next up, we have a Mom and Dad. I expected stupid kind of comedy horror flick to entertain me somehow. Wasn't expecting fireworks from this, but hoped to see something worth my time. The first 10 minutes were so strange. I had some very uneasy vibes straight up. Because of the sounds and eerie tracks in the background, something felt so off with this movie. I couldn't say what it was in exact from the beginning, but it was very unpleasant to witness. Weirdness and uncomfortable vibe just filled me up, and I was actually pretty ready to be creeped out by it. I was so confused when the things started to shape up plot-wise. It was like a zombie apocalypse, but this time parents were chasing their kids down and fucking them up, literally. The plot was kinda insane and confusing overall. This movie played with our emotions so much, and at the same time it just wasn't make any sense whatsoever. Everything felt like mixed in this movie, and it had so many different things mashed into this one movie, which made it such an uneasy experience. We had some very disturbing things going on the screen and basically fucking with our mind constantly. Also, the length of this movie surprised me because it was only 85 minutes long. I haven't seen this short professional production movie in a while. Also the scene where Nicolas Cage is singing Hokey Pokey as he destroys the pool table with a sledgehammer is pure fire.
Put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you do the hokey pokey and you...
His performance was just so electrified and so abnormal that I kinda like it. Enough said, it was basically a brainless flick where you need to just throw your common sense and morality out of the window and try to fill this movie into that place for a little over an hour to really understand it. It still was entertaining, in my opinion, looking at the aspects it had, but it was so weird. So weird. I gave this movie 3 out of 5 stars. The next one is Oblivion. Well, first off, I heard that this movie was okay and it had some very impressive visuals. Well, I can say that the second statement is very accurate one, but I can't say the same about the first one though. While it was incredibly beautiful and compelling to the eyes, the plot was unrealistically dull. My god, I expected a little bit more of action and more sense to the story, but it stayed pretty lame till the end. It was so dull that I literally fell asleep. Literally before the third act. I needed to reverse the movie a little bit and watch it again to get back on track. CGI was awesome at places and somewhere not so much, but overall the cinematography was gorgeous and outstanding in my opinion. Performances were okay, nothing too special though, but it's always a joy to hear Morgan Freeman speaking. His character was very different from other he's been playing normally. He did a great job. Tom Cruise did an okay job too. If you love pure sci-fi journey, this is one to watch. Otherwise, it's going to be very frustrating to watch through. And I gave this movie 2 stars out of 5. Redeemably, I got 1 movie left and it saved me from these disappointing movies I've seen couple of days. So the last one is Don't Breathe. I have heard some serious praises for this movie, so now I got the chance to watch it finally. I was so excited to see it. So there's a group of young adults who are basically living by robbing people's houses. This time they may had some problems while trying to rob this blind guy. It's supposed to be an easy gig for them, but the blind guy is much more tougher than expected. As we know, they have to be very quiet and not to get caught. And remember, don't breathe. The word of the day is intensity, and that's what this movie really has in its sleeves. You never know what will pop up on the screen. The intensity is mad. What makes this movie very impressive is that the story is very unpredictable and much more original than any other modern horror flick. But of course, that's just my opinion. It does use some cheesy jump scare methods, but with this amount of unpredictability, it opens much more layers to the horror aspects themselves. The cinematography and visual aspects of the movie were so captivating and hypnotizing that I could not stop staring at the screen because I was so excited to see what happens next. As soon as you got the grip of the movie, it starts to add these new aspects into it, which we couldn't even imagine. That's why I felt so fresh watching during the whole movie. It constantly keeps us guessing and adding new things to entirety. This movie is very impressive. Ones to watch if you love some intensive horror flicks, definitely recommending this one to everyone. And this movie gets from me 4 out of 5 stars. So basically here was my week of the movies, and I hope you got something from this video to get you excited for some movie or dodge some disappointment. So basically I'm going to do this, every week. I will add many little reviews. In this list you will have some new movies and old movies combined, so it's pretty cool concept in my opinion. But I hope you like this first video of best of watch list. I'll see you in the next video. As always, I hope I'll see you in the next week's episode. like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video as always. Cheers.